Hey everyone, I'm Kyle and welcome to Review Junction. This week's review is of Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. 20 years after the original, George Lucas thought it was finally time to take a shit on everything good about the franchise by releasing what many people call the worst film in the saga. So how does it actually stack against the original trilogy? Let's find out. Star Wars Episode 1 sets out to tell the story of how a little boy would eventually become a Sith Lord. When the Trade Federation sends a large droid army to forcibly control the lush planet of Naboo, it's up to 2 Jedi Guardians, an incredibly ugly queen, and the most annoying child of all time to save the planet. What follows is slow-paced, boring political drivel that's barely reminiscent of the space opera that made Star Wars so fun in the first place. The politics should have been limited to only the most significant scenes, such as Palpatine's ascension to Supreme Chancellor. Instead, they make up about 70% of the movie. What were they thinking? As a result, the script for The Phantom Menace is messy and uneven, casting the few exciting action sequences at the end, and abandoning all hope for the second act. How'd you fuck this up so bad, George? That being said, the action scenes are actually quite entertaining, and offer several new ideas rarely explored by other movies. It only helps that George Lucas proves that directing is his true calling, revealing few wasted shots due to the economic direction. On the other hand, even the direction can't make up for the lack of character development. The only character that feels fully featured is Anakin Skywalker himself, tossing the rest of the characters, many of which get more screen time by the way, to the sidelines. Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon,
Yeah, Captain Topos, Misa back.
What the fuck is that?
Misa called Jar Jar Binks. Misa your humble servant.
That vile creature, Jar Jar Binks, ruined many childhoods by appearing in Star Wars. Binks is the worst character of all time in any movie. Period. Was he meant to be a cruel joke for us all? If only this had happened in Star Wars. Or this. With horrible things like George's poor writing, you think Star Wars Episode 1 couldn't possibly get any worse. But it does. Liam Neeson plays Qui-Gon Jinn. This is one of the best performances of his career, and it still features a monotonous voice that clearly shows his love for acting. Because of this, it's hard to get much enjoyment out of his character. Then you have Padme Amidala, played by Natalie Portman. Natalie's actually a fantastic actress. This is what's so puzzling about Episode 1. She's absolutely dreadful in all of her scenes. I suspect it's because she hated the material. But then, why audition in the first place? Nope. Then there's Jake Lloyd as Anakin Skywalker, our main character for the entire saga. Jake was the other person who ruined Star Wars for the next generation. His horrible acting style was littered with awful delivery that always pulled you out of the action. I now understand why you all sent him death threats. Thankfully, that's the extent of the bad actors. With Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan, it was clear through his believable performance that he was passionate about the material. In addition, with Ian McDiarmid as Palpatine, his classical style training brilliantly reflects the inner workings of the character, in a way that only the best actors like Ian McKellen or Christopher Lee can. Of course, for the entire cast, the atrocious dialogue is mainly what's at fault here. It's unrealistic and too on the nose, resulting in a film experience reminiscent of psychological torture. At least not all is bad in Star Wars Episode 1. The phenomenal visuals make up for many of the film's shortcomings. The excellent Blu-ray quality, thanks to the warm colors, allows Episode 1 to still hold up to the standards of many movies today. Even the CGI doesn't look that dated. The Blu-ray further enhances all of the special effects in Star Wars. Blaster bolts, explosions, and lightsabers all look appealingly vibrant. The costumes, although sometimes bland, tend to add to the whole experience by giving a period design that somehow fits with the universe. The only actual flaw you'll find in Star Wars Episode 1's presentation is within the balance of sound. Dialogue is often difficult to hear, but then your eardrums will bleed from obnoxious sound effects. But that's when you get to the score. Composed by John Williams, the greatest film composer of all time, the familiar themes and new ones alike practically had me tearing up from excitement. There's not a single flaw I can find within the soundtrack. Put simply, I can only recommend that you buy Star Wars Episode 1 if you're a dedicated fan of the original trilogy. If it wasn't for the world created around the movie, it'd be a hell of a lot worse than it tends to be. Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, gets a 5 out of 10. So thanks for watching, guys. What movie do you think is the worst in the entire saga? Also, which franchise is better, Star Wars or Star Trek? Let the war of the comments begin. So thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like and share it on Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. All the links for those can be found in the description below.
Also, don't forget to subscribe by hitting that big button over there. And while you're at it, why not click that email checkbox so that our videos don't get buried with all the other channels you're subscribed to. I'm Zack.
And I'm Kyle. And we're Battlefront Productions. Really? You mean the subscribe button bigger than us?
Well, it is pretty nice.